So, hi everyone. Thank you very much for joining me today. As you can see, our today's topic is what you need to know about IELTS. That's why over the next hour or so, we're going to walk through everything you need to know about IELTS. For example, what the exam actually is, who it's for, how it's structured, how it's scored, and most importantly, how to prepare for it the smart way. So it's not going to be just like a webinar where I talk at you. We've got a few quick quizzes along the way, so please keep your chat open and get involved. Yeah, so let's get started. Uh, okay, yeah. First of all, a quick word about me. My name is Sophia, and I'm a senior teacher here at Green Country English School. As you can see, I'm the author of our educational materials. I've been teaching English for over 4 years to learners of all levels and ages, and I specialize in IELTS preparation. So here's our today's plan. We will start with an overview of IELTS, what it is, who takes it. Then we will look at different exam types and formats. After that, we will go deep into the structure of IELTS academic and the kinds of tasks you will face. We will talk about how the exam is scored and what band score you actually need. And we will finish with preparation strategies and some useful resources. Then we will wrap up with question and answer session. So if a question pops up into your head at any point, just type it in the chat and we will discuss it. So what exactly is IELTS? As you can see, IELTS stands for the International English Language Testing System, and it is the world's most popular English language test. Just look at these numbers right here. More than 3 million tests are taken every single year. It is accepted in over 140 countries, and more than 11,500 organizations recognize IELTS results. Also, there were two versions of the test, which are academic and general training. So we will look at it in just a few moments. So who actually takes IELTS? As you can see right here, there are four main reasons. The first one is studying abroad, since it's required for admission to universities in the UK and the USA, Canada, Australia, Europe, and more. The second one is work and career, things like professional registration in medicine or nursing or engineering, and job applications abroad. The third one is immigration. So it's like a visa requirement for countries like Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and the UK. And the fourth is simply a personal goal, since it's an international recognized certificate that proves your English level. It's nice to have, so yeah, people just take it for that reason. Now, here's our first quiz. I'm going to read out 5 common IELTS myths, and I want you to decide whether it's true or false. You have to type either true, letter T or F in the chat for each one. So the first one we have, you can fail the IELTS exam. Yeah, so just choose whether it's T or F. Now the second one, you have a British or American accent, gives you a higher speaking score. The third one is your IELTS certificate is valid forever. Now, number 4 is writing more words than required gives you extra points. And number 5, you must take all 4 sections on the same day. So I'll give you a moment. Please, you can type your answer. And then in just a few seconds, we will have a look at the correct ones. Okay, so let me show you the correct answers. As you can see, every single one of these is false. Yeah, so let's go through each of these. The first one, yeah, you can't actually fail IELTS since you have to get like a score from 0 to 9, and well, you can get a very low score, which is not going to be great, but yeah, the real question is whether the score you get meets your target. So you can't actually fail it because everyone who takes it gets a band score once again from 0 to 9. The second one, it is false as well, since examiners assess your clarity and pronunciation, not your accent. So even if you got a clear accent, anyone with a clear accent can score a band 9. The third one, so most organizations only accept your results for 2 years. That is why you have to plan your test date carefully. Then four, it is quality or quantity. Yeah, so going way over the word count usually means more mistakes. That is why this one is false. And the last one, your speaking test can be scheduled up to a week before or after the other 3 sections. That is why, and the fifth statement was false. Now we will clear up one of the most important choices you will make, general or academic IELTS. So on the left, you have IELTS academic and the information about it. Yeah. So IELTS academic, it's for university admission and professional registration. And how does it differ from the general one? Reading section will involve 3 long academic texts, and writing task 1 will be a task where you have to describe a graph, chart, or diagram. Yeah, and then the language in this exam is a bit more challenging. Now, on the right, you have general training IELTS, which is for immigration, work experience, or secondary education. And here, as you can see, reading is about like everyday topics, so like everyday texts, like ads, maybe some workplace documents, and writing task 1 is just a letter. So here is the key thing to remember. Listening and speaking tests are exactly the same in both versions, just the ones that are provided here are different. So reading and writing task 1. Yeah, then for the rest of the webinar, we will be focusing on academic IELTS. Then let's proceed. Let's talk about how you take the test. You've got 3 options, as you can see. The first one is computer-based. So at an official test center, you type your answers and results come back in just 1 to 5 days. And there are more dates to choose from. Now, the second option is paper-based, so it is also at the center. You handwrite your answers, and results take around 13 days to come. This one is great if you prefer writing by hand. And then the third one is IELTS online, which is academic only. So you cannot take like a general one from home, yeah. So you take it from home and you just need stable internet and a quiet room. For one thing that's true for all 3, your speaking test is always a live conversation with an examiner. And there are some important changes coming to these formats. So let us have a look at the next slide. Yeah, so as you can see, the biggest update from the middle of 2026 is that all IELTS tests are moving to computer. IELTS on paper is being phased out, though the exact timing varies by countries, but yeah, people will no longer be able to pick that option. Now, the second update is one skill retake, and this is actually fantastic because if you do well in 3 sections but fall short in 1, you can retake just that 1 section within 60 days instead of retaking like the whole test again. And it is already valid, like it's already available in over 50 countries. So yeah, then the third one, writing task 1. So you might now see two visual combines, not just one graph, but for example, you can have two charts or tables that you will have to introduce and compare them. So that's also a new update, an update. Yeah, so the task content itself isn't changing. It's same format, same questions, same scoring, same recognition worldwide, just these few new things. Now we will compare IELTS to other English exams like TOEFL and Cambridge. So as you can see, first of all, the speaking test. With IELTS, you talk to a real human examiner, not a computer. Yeah, and second, it's about acceptance. So IELTS is the most widely accepted of the three, especially across the UK, Australia, Canada, Europe, and for immigration. And third, it uses a range of accents. So you're exposed to natural English. Now, TOEFL tends to be best for US universities, and Cambridge is great for long-term certification. As you can see here, score like you have it for a lifetime, basically. Yeah, and then like so it doesn't expire, unlike IELTS, for example, or 12. And for most goals, IELTS gives you the broadest options and that real human conversation and speaking. So yeah, but you can study this table in more detail. We've just like talked about the most important aspects. Okay, now let's talk about its structure. I'm pretty sure all of you already heard that it consists of 4 parts, like 4 sections. You have listening, which is about 30 minutes, plus 10 minutes for transferring your answers. Then reading takes 60 minutes. You have 3 long passages in there. And as you can see, 40 questions. These are the most common types of tasks. Then we have writing, which is also 60 minutes, and there are 2 tasks always. Yeah, there are always 2 tasks. We already talked about the first task for academic IELTS, which was like a visual data, meaning you get a graph or table or chart or something like that. And as you can see here, you need to write approximately 150 words, while in the second task, which is an essay, you need 250 words. But we will talk about each of these sections in more detail. So yeah, let's proceed to speaking. As you can see, speaking is quite short compared to the other sections, just 11 to 40 minutes. Yeah, and if we add up all of these, that's roughly 2 hours and 45 minutes. So once again, listening, reading, and writing, they all happen on the same day, one after another. And speaking is the one that you might take on a different day. So yeah, let us now go through each of these sections, and we will begin with the listening. So 4 parts, yeah, 40 questions, and the difficulty increases as you go. So part 1 is an everyday conversation between people. It could be a booking a hotel, for example. Now, part 2 is a monologue on an everyday topic, such as guided tour. Part 3 is a conversation between 2 to 4 people in an academic context, and part 4 is an academic lecture. Now, 2 things that are absolutely crucial. First, you hear each recording only once. Yeah, so here you have it. Only once. And that is why you must read the questions ahead of time, so before listening, so that you can have an idea of what it is that you're going to be listening about and memorize the most important parts. And second, there is no penalty for wrong answers. That means that even if you're not sure, always try to guess and write something. Never leave a blank, because who knows, maybe you are lucky enough to guess the correct answer. Now, reading. In reading, as I already mentioned, you'll have 3 passages, which are like usually pretty big and long articles. Same as in listening, you'll have 40 questions and 60 minutes. So the texts come from academic journals, books, magazines, newspapers, and they get harder from passage 1 to passage 3. Now you can see a whole range of task types. So true, false, not given, yes, no, not given, matching headings, sentence completion, multiple choice, or here you have matching information, diagram labeling, and more. Now, many people recommend spending about 20 minutes on each passage since you have 3 of them and 60 minutes in total. However, I suggest that you spend 50 minutes on the first one, as it is usually the easiest, then 20 minutes on the second one, and 25 minutes on the final one, which is typically the most challenging. And unlike listening, there is no extra transfer time. So write your answer straight onto the answer sheet as you go. And watch out for those true, false, not given questions. That's like one of the most common type of tasks. And that's where a lot of people lose marks. All right, then let's proceed. And here you have writing. So 2 tasks, as already mentioned, 60 minutes total. As you can see, task 1 gives you gotta, normally people spend 20 minutes doing task 1. Once again, you have to describe visual information, things like graphs, charts, tables, processes, or maps in at least 150 words. This task is worth 1/3 of the writing score. That is why it makes no sense to dedicate more than 20 minutes to that task. And task 2, as you can see, normally people spend 40 minutes doing it. You have to write an academic essay of at least 250 words, which is worth 2/3 of your score. So that is why, once again, this is how you are supposed to manage your time. Since task 2 carries double the weight, so you don't have to get stuck spending too long on task 1 and trying to write, let's say, more than 200 words. Yeah. Then an important thing to remember, don't write like your opinion in task 1. You just have to summarize the visual. That's the key part. Yeah, they are not asking for your opinion or something like that. So, and here you can see a real example of writing task 1. The question asks you here, to describe a chart showing the percentage of households with internet access in 3 countries between 2005 and 2020, and to make comparisons where relevant. The countries are right here. You have the UK, Sweden, and Poland. So what's your job in those 20 minutes? You have to write an overview of the main trends, compare the 3 countries, use data to support your key points, but once again, one of the most important points is don't give your opinion. Don't try to describe every single number. You just need the main features, So here you have the things you have to keep in mind while doing that part. Now, another quiz, only one of these 3 is a genuine writing task 2 question. Now have a look at those. Option A is write a story that begins with the sentence, "It was a dark and stormy night." Now option 2, you have some people believe that unpaid community service should be compulsory part of high school programs. To what extent do you agree or disagree? And option C, you have translate the following paragraph into English and explain the grammar rules you used. Now, once again, you may look straight and tell me which one is real. Is it A, B, or C? So type your answer in chat. I will give you a few seconds to do so. Yeah, so once again, just choose the one that is a real task, a real writing task on IELTS. Is it A, B, or C? Okay, I can see one of you has, okay, I can see two answers now. That's great. Okay, yeah, and girls, you're absolutely right. So the real IELTS task is B. Yeah. So a classic opinion essay asking you to take a position and just justify it. Why the other two are fake, yeah? So option A is like creative storytelling, and that is never tested in IELTS. Writing task two, it's always an academic style essay on some social topic like education, environment, for example, technology, health, and so on. And option C is translation, which is also never done on IELTS. The exam tests your ability to use English, not to convert between languages. And also there are no like grammar explanation tasks. That is why you're right, it is B. Now, speaking, so there are three tasks, or three parts, let's say that, and it only lasts 11 to 14 minutes. Part one is an introduction and interview with questions about familiar topics like your home, family, work, hobbies, maybe school or something like that. So just give short and natural answers. Part two is the individual long turn. You get a topic card, then you got 1 minute to prepare, and then you speak for 1 to 2 minutes on your own. So no question asked, you have to speak for 2 minutes, and actually it sounds easy, but once you practice and once you try to do that, yeah, sometimes you might run out of the ideas of what to say, right? So that is why you have that 1 minute to make notes and I would say make a plan of what it is that you're going to say. Yeah, and part three is a two-way discussion with deeper and more abstract questions linked to your part two topic. So basically, you perhaps will be asked some additional questions about what you were talking about in part two. Yeah, and remember that the whole thing is recorded and it should feel like a real conversation. You have to be natural, don't memorize answers because the examiners can spot a rehearsed speech instantly. Yep, so here you have a sample. Speaking part two and the card and you might get, so let's see how it works. This one says, describe a place you visited that you particularly enjoyed. And then it asks you to say where it is, when you went there, what you did there, and why you enjoyed it. So how does it work? Once again, you get 1 minute to prepare, let's say with paper and pencil for notes. Don't spend that time trying to create some sentences. Yeah, you will just like, it's a waste of time. Instead, try to make some sort of a plan. Yeah, make it logical. That's also one of the most important parts. Just think of the beginning, of the middle part, yes, and the ending. And then once again, you have 1 minute to 2 minutes to speak. Then try to don't speak too fast, first of all, yeah. And then look up some words, like some phrases that you can incorporate in your speech that will make it longer, yeah. So instead of I think, pick something like from my perspective or something like that. So yeah, a phrase that sounds more advanced and that is longer. Now, you can cover all the points on the card since they are here to give some ideas to you, yeah, what it is that you can talk about. But you should like feel free to add your own ideas. And yeah, let us move on then. Now let's talk about scoring. So IELTS is scored on a scale from 0 to 9, and it goes in half band steps. So 6.0, 6.5, 7.0, and so on. And 9 is an expert user, as you can see. So here 8 is like very good, 7 is good, and 6 is here, right? So, and you have modest 5 for limited. So what score do you actually need? Well, As you can see, most universities, if you want to get a bachelor's degree, yeah, it's enough to get 6.0 or 6.5. Now, top universities or master's programs ask for 6.5 to 7.5. Then we have skilled migration. So to Canada or Australia, it's usually 6.0 to 7.0 higher. And medical professional registration in the UK needs around 6.0 or 6.5. Okay, so Dan, how is your overall band calculated? Your overall score is simply the average of your 4 section scores rounded to the nearest half band. So in our example here, you have 6.5 for listening, 6.5 for reading, 6.0 for writing, and then 7.0 for speaking. That adds up to 26, and then we divide it by 4 and get 6.5. So overall band is 6.5. Once again, remember that now you can retake one of these. For example, let's say if you are not happy with your listening, you think you can get more, like, yeah, you can score higher than that. So you just retake it, and if let's say you get 7.0 or 7.5, your overall score will be higher as well. Now, for listening and reading, your raw score out of 40 converts to a band. And for writing and speaking, those are assessed on 4 criteria that you have right here. Yeah, so these are the 4 criteria for writing, and these are the 4 criteria for speaking. Notice here you have lexical resource. So what's that? That's your vocabulary range, including how well you use synonyms and paraphrasing. Yeah, here you also have coherence. It's actually a huge part of your score, and that's exactly what we focus on here in green countries. So yeah. Now let us move on, and here we will have a look at the difference between band A and band 7. So what's the real difference? Now at band 6, there are some inaccuracies in your speech, or your vocabulary is a bit repetitive. You mix maybe some simple and complex sentences with errors, and there is noticeable hesitation in your speech, for example. Now, at band 7, you make only occasional minor errors, and you use flexible vocabulary with good paraphrasing and synonyms. You produce some frequent error-free complex sentences, and you speak at length with a natural flow. So the jump from 6 to 7 really comes down to 2 things. It's accuracy and range. These ones that you've got right here. Okay, so then let's see what's next. Okay, we will talk about most common mistakes that test takers make. So the first one, as you can see, not reading the instructions. So if it says no more than 2 words and you write 3, you get 0. That's the most important part. Yeah, so always make sure that you follow the instruction. They always mention, let's say, if you are doing the reading task, in the instruction it says whether you're allowed to write a number and the amount of words you cannot exceed. So it can be 2 words, can be 3 words, can be 5 words. Yeah, then the second one, ignoring the word count, going under 100 or 250. So 150 or 250 words in writing means an automatic penalty. Then 3, memorized answers in speaking. I already mentioned that. Examiners catch these instantly, so you should not do that. And number 4, spending too long on one question. So let's say you're stuck, yeah, you don't know what to choose. Just skip it, move on, and then you'll be able to come back. So if you spend too much time on one task or on one sentence, you then later on won't have enough to do the rest. So that is why, once again, skip it, move on, and then come back. Now 5, it's forgetting the overview in writing task 1. That caps your score at 5, at band 5. Once again, what's an overview? Overview is like the most important general features or trends that you identify in a chart, graph, table, or map or process that you are given in, once again, writing task 1. And 6, you have leaving answers blank. Already mentioned that, so don't do it because there is no penalty for guessing. That is why don't leave your answers blank. Okay, yeah, that is why avoid these 6. Now, the next one, you have what to expect on exam day. So let's walk through what your actual exam day looks like. Let's say around 8 a.m. you arrive and check in, then you bring the passport you registered with, you'll have a photo and fingerprint taken, and your phone and belongings will be stored away. Then around 9, your listening begins. There is a headphones check first, so that they make sure that your headphones are okay. Yeah, the sound is clear. The recording plays once, so focus from question 1. And I already told you have to look through your tasks and questions and sentences before, because you only listen once. Now, straight after that, you have reading 60 minutes with no break between sections. Then writing task 1 and task 2. And then once again, your speaking test. It's either on the same day or within 7 days. Face-to-face with an examiner, so you have to arrive about 30 minutes early. And remember, if you take it on computer, it's shorter day with results in just 1 to 5 days. And well, this is if you decide to go to their center and have IELTS taken there. Yeah, but you also can have it taken from home, for example. So you can take IELTS from home. Now, how do you register? It's 4 simple steps. Step 1, you choose your version and format. So once again, academic or general. Then you have to choose whether it's computer, paper, or online, and you check what your institution, let's say university, college requires first. Now, step 2, you find the test center and date. You register through their website. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, there are different websites that you can use. It could be IELTS.org or the British Council or IDP. Here in Ukraine, there are official centers in Kiev and other major cities, but right now you can take the IELTS test online from home. You cannot go to the official center, unfortunately. Then step 3, you have to pay the fee. It's typically around 200 or 260 US dollars, and then it includes sending your results to 5 institutions for free. All right, now how long do you need to prepare? So as you can see, gaining half a band to full band usually takes about 2 to 3 months of consistent study. If you need just half a band more, focus for 1 to 2 months on exam technique and time practice. If you need a full band, give yourself 2 to 4 months, combining general English with exam strategy and some regular feedback. And if you are aiming for a jump of 1.5 to 2 bands, plan for 4 to 8 months to build your core language first and then move to exam training. But, well, there can't be too much practice, of course. So the more you practice, the higher chance you get. And then let's have a look. Here we have some preparation strategies. So 1, know the test format inside out. Familiarity saves time and reduces stress. So of course, it's extremely stressful to take an exam that you've never seen, never practiced before. That is why we talk so much about the stages, the parts, the type of tasks, and so on. And of course, how to do those tasks in order to save time and to get the most out of it. Now, number 2, you take full practice tests under exam conditions, timing yourself strictly and using the official Cambridge IELTS books. So this timing yourself strictly is actually very important. Maybe at first That's not so necessary to do, but then you have to set timers, for example, for speaking, yeah, or for reading, since remember you have 1 hour for two passages. So yeah, that's an important one. Then number 3, you build your vocabulary systematically. You learn topic-based words, synonyms, and collocations, not random isolated words. Of course, it is nearly impossible to learn everything, to know all of the words, and yeah. You might see some unknown words, but if you understand 80 or more % of the passage, so yeah, you can get even all 40. All 40 points. Now, number 4, get feedback on your writing and speaking. This is the big one because self-study just can't catch your own mistakes, and writing is actually one of the most difficult ones. I think the easiest part that is considered is listening, and then writing considered the most difficult. So you gotta practice a lot here. And 5, you have to immerse yourself in English every day. So what does it mean? Listening to podcasts, reading articles, watching series, listening to music. I don't know, even just like changing your settings on your phone and having everything in English. That's what's gonna help you. So even 30 minutes a day build like real fluency over time. That is why you have to experiment and try to see what works for you. Now we have our final quiz. So there are, as you can see, 5 questions here. And you just have to choose, is it 1, 2, or 3? So just type a number, 1, 2, 3 in chat, and yeah, we will check how well you memorized the key information. So question number 1. How long is your IELTS certificate valid for most universities? Number 1, it is forever. Number 2, it's 2 years, and number 3, it's 5 years. So please, you can type, is it number 1, 2, or 3? Which one is correct? How long is your certificate valid? Okay, let's wait a few seconds for you to type your answer in chat. Okay, I can see one of you. Okay, 2 answers. All right, so then let's move on to the second one. We will check all of these on the next slide. So let's proceed to the second one. Question number 2, it's what's the minimum word count for writing task 2? Not 1, but task 2. Okay, so you have number 1, 150 words. Number 2, 200 words. Number 3, 250 words. So which one is it? Just send the number 1, 2, or 3. Okay, a few seconds for you to type the answer. Okay, great. I can see one answer. So what about the third one? We have how many times do you hear each listening recording? So you have number 1 once, 2 twice, and 3 as many as you need. So how many times do you hear the recording during the listening part? Okay, what about the next one? We have which exam version do you need for university admission? The first one is general, then the second it's academic, and the third one either one. So it does not matter. Both could be accepted. Okay, just a few seconds for you to give the correct answer. All right, and the last one, the fifth question. What happens if you leave an answer blank in reading? The first one, -1 point penalty. The second one, nothing, so always guess. And the third one, disqualification. So please go on, type your answer. The fifth one, is it number 1, 2, or 3? All right, so great job, everyone. Let us have a look at the correct answers. So the first question, yeah, you guessed it right. That's 2 years. So most universities accept results no older than 2 years. Now, yeah, for writing task 2, you need 250 words minimum. For the first task, you need 150. And it's not recommended to exceed, for example, 200 words just because of the time limits. Remember, you'll have 1 hour for 2 writing tasks. And the first task, it gives you like fewer scores. So that is why you focus on your essay, on writing task 2. And yeah, then the third one. Yeah, once. You only hear each recording 1 time. That is why when you get your questions, you have to look for the keywords. You have to get as much as possible of the information that you're given before you start listening. So first of all, you have an idea what you're listening about, what type of task it is. Will you need to choose, for example, write a word? How many words will you need to write? Or is it supposed to be some other type of task like true, false, not given? So yeah, here you have a reading in advance matters a lot. Now, question number 4. So academic, yes, you need academic for university and general for immigration and work experience. And the fifth, yeah, also you answered correctly. So nothing happens. That is why always try and guess. Once again, maybe you're lucky enough to guess the correct answer. So yeah, there is no penalty for wrong answers in listening and reading. That is why never leave a blank. Trust your gut or intuition. Who knows? Maybe that's correct. Okay, so now here, I would like to invite you to join our IELTS prep course. You got the details on the slide. So classes begin on July the 6th, next month, yeah. You will meet with your teachers twice a week on Mondays and Wednesdays or Tuesdays and Thursdays. You can also pick the time that suits you. Here you have, it's either 1 p.m. or 3 p.m. The lesson lasts 1 hour and 50 minutes. Now, to register, you can just scan this QR code on the screen to open our Telegram bot. And webinar guests get 10% off if they register within the next 24 hours. So, yeah. Now, let me know if you have any questions, and I will be happy to answer. So just type them in chat. We will wait a minute or two so that you can ask your questions. Please, you can just type them. Right, so feel free to ask anything. Okay, so is there anyone who has any questions? Okay, so what do you advise me to prepare for the exam if I already have B1 and preparing for the test myself? So first of all, I would advise you to watch some videos on YouTube, but not just like videos like IELTS, what it is, and so on. Watch those ones where, let's say, if we talk about speaking, so there are those videos where there is like a student, yeah, and they are to do all of, like, complete all of those tasks. For example, the first one where they are asking the questions, the second one where they get a card, yes. So you can actually watch how they answer, and then you can see what band they get. So, and you can actually learn from their mistakes, I would say, something like that. So you practice by watching somebody answer. And also, for example, writing. There are videos where they check somebody's, let's say, essay. So once again, you learn by watching how, like, what mistakes other students make, and you avoid making those. Yeah. So that's very cool when you can actually not just, have a look at the tasks, but actually see how others do them and what mistakes they make, so you know what to avoid. Also, there are websites where you can actually practice, like you can complete all of the previous IELTS tasks. There are lots of material, and it's actually very easy. I'm not sure about the name of that website, but you can easily find it, just IELTS practice online, and you will be able to see it. You can practice each of those sections separately. So if you, let's say, want to focus on reading only, you only do reading. If you only focus on, I don't know, listening, you only do listening, or you can do the whole thing. But once again, it's kind of difficult. I mean, once again, the exam takes almost 3 hours, or to be precise, 2 hours and 45 minutes. So it's kind of difficult to do everything in a row, especially if you've never done that before. That is why, let's say at green country on the lesson, you will practice those in stages. For example, on lesson 1, you will talk about, I don't know, tasks from reading and like speaking. Then on the next lesson, 2 other sections. So I recommend you begin with preparing, starting from the sections. Yeah. So let's say you begin with listening. You have a look at the types of tasks that can be there in listening. You can even use AI, I know, GPT chat, and ask it to give you some advice on how to prepare or how to complete those tasks. Yeah. For example, let's say you struggle with task number, I don't know, 4 or something. So ask it to give you some advice and try to follow those. So first practice listening, then move on to the reading section. Do the same thing. Have a look at all of the possible tasks, how to do those tasks so that you don't waste your time, because actually it is very difficult. Those passages they are very long, especially the third one. It's very difficult and long, so you can't afford to reread it several times. That is why your strategy is like the most important thing. So once again, you maybe watch some videos, or once again consult someone, or on how to do this task so that you don't waste your time. Yeah, so that's my recommendation. Okay, any other questions? Oh, and one more thing, also regarding this question, you don't forget to set the time limits, yeah? So so that with time you get used to it. And yeah, that's like perhaps the last recommendation. Okay, I can see that there are no more questions. So thank you very much, everyone. Okay, one sec, one more question. Best to launch. Actually, it's best to take a few months in advance. For example, let's say your university tells you that they need your exam in July, yeah, because I believe that it depends on the university. Some might need it pretty early. So let's say the university you want to go to says that you need to present them the results in July. So it does not mean that you should take it in June, yeah, and then present it to them in July. Better take it, let's say, in May, so that in case you're not happy with, let's say, your writing result or listening, you can retake it. So that's my advice. Better take it earlier so that then you have a chance to retake it. So yeah, that's what I would say. Any other questions? Okay, so let's just wait one more minute. Maybe there are some. Okay, I cannot see any other questions. So then thank you very much everyone for being here today. I hope this webinar was useful for you and you've learned maybe some new information about IELTS. So then have a good evening everyone. Take care of yourself and I hope you'll enjoy this webinar. So bye-bye. Thank you. Take care everyone.